This conference will now be recorded.
So good morning to all of you. ఒక్కళ్ళు కూడా గుడ్ మార్నింగ్ అంటే రెస్పాండ్ అయ్యారు. ఏమో అఖిలానా నిఖితానా? నిఖితా లేదు, చాలా మంది ఉన్నారంట. నరహరి, వై హ్యావ్ లెఫ్ట్? సాయి వినీత్, రేష్మ, వీళ్ళెవ్వరే అసలు ఇంతకుముందులాగా మనం స్ట్రిక్ట్ గా లేవు. ఇంతకుముందు అందరూ వచ్చి ఇదైతేనే పెట్టేవాళ్ళు. వచ్చారు 150 మంది. ఎంతమంది తెలుసు? వాట్ హ్యాపెన్ టు ద అదర్ పీపుల్? సాయి చందన ఆఫ్ అంటే Lakshmi Priya. Only 105 people have come. What happened to the other 15? No? 152. What happened to the other 40 people? Nearly 45 people. Hema, Vital, Vishal. Why he has left? Hema, Vital, Baji. Abaya, Ammaya.
Baji.
Baji. Oh, Baji. ఇది ఇంటికి పోతుంది. తపస్విని కళ్ళు మాట్లాడలేదు. కళ్యాణ బెస్ట్ స్టూడెంట్. సాయి చందన ఆఫ్ అంటే ఏంటి? మౌనిక, సాయి మౌనిక.
ఎస్ సార్.
నువ్వేనమ్మా సాయి మౌనిక? అది కాదమ్మా, గుడ్ మార్నింగ్ అంటే ఎవ్వరు చెప్పరు. 109 మంది వచ్చారు. వాట్ హ్యాపెండ్?
గుడ్ మార్నింగ్ సార్.
గుడ్ మార్నింగ్.
గుడ్ మార్నింగ్ సార్.
గుడ్ మార్నింగ్ సార్.
వాట్ హ్యాపెండ్ టు ది 150?
They'll join in 10 minutes, sir.
No, they are not logged in. Here we are reading we are seeing how many people have logged in. Okay, మీకు ప్యాంక్రియాస్ అయిపోయిందా? అదొకటి చెప్పండి నాకు. ప్యాంక్రియాస్ చెప్పారని విన్నాను, అయిపోయిందా?
మొత్తం అయిపోలేదు సార్, స్టార్ట్ చేశారు సార్.
అంటే ఎవరు స్టార్ట్ చేస్తే వాళ్ళు దే విల్ ఫినిష్. నిన్న లావణ్య మేడం ఏం చెప్పారు? నిన్న ఫ్రైడే
క్లాస్ ఈ రోజు సార్ మ్యామ్ ది.
లావణ్య మేడం కూడా ఈ రోజేనా?
ఎస్ సార్.
లేదు, నిన్న కదా. నిన్న 10:30కి ఏమో మళ్ళీ
రీషెడ్యూల్ అయింది సార్ ఈ రోజుకి.
సరే మేడం, ఏం తీసుకుంటున్నారో? ఏ సిస్టమ్, ఏ టాపిక్? ప్యాంక్రియాస్ ఆమెనా?
మ్యామ్ స్టమక్ తీసుకున్నారు సార్ ఇంతవరకు.
ప్యాంక్రియాస్ ఎవరు చెప్తున్నారు? కేసీనా, ప్రణీత, లేకపోతే కేవీనా, సీకేనా?
సందీప్ సార్.
సందీప్ సార్ ప్యాంక్రియాస్. ఓకే సార్. అంటే వన్స్ దే హావ్ స్టార్టెడ్ దే విల్ టేక్. సో మన ఈ లివర్ ట్రామా తోటి మన లివర్ అయిపోద్ది. సో ఇన్ దిస్ పీరియడ్ ఐ హావ్ కంప్లీటెడ్ స్మాల్ ఇంటెస్టైన్ అండ్ లివర్. తర్వాత ఏం సిస్టమ్ చెప్పాలి మండే నుంచి చెప్పండి నాకు. మీకు ఎప్పుడు ఇంటర్నల్ అసెస్మెంట్?
24th నుంచి సార్.
24th అంటే అప్పుడు దాకా క్లాసులు ఉంటాయిగా. 24th అంటే మధ్యలో మెడిసిన్ ఏదో ఉంటుందేమో, దానికంటే ముందు వరకు క్లాసులు ఉంటాయి. ప్రాబ్లీ నేను ఐ మే నాట్ బి అవైలబుల్. ఓకే, ఇంకా మీకు నెక్స్ట్ ఏం సిస్టమ్ చెప్పాలి అది నాకు చెప్పాలి. మండే నేను ఉంటే గన ఊర్లో I will start that system. Otherwise, ఇంకా నేను మళ్ళా సెప్టెంబర్లో క్లాస్ నేను తీసుకుంటాను.
Urology, sir.
యూరాలజిస్ట్ తీసుకోవట్లేదా? ప్రణీత్ కానీ లేకపోతే ఎనీ అదర్ యూరాలజిస్ట్ దే ఆర్ నాట్ టేకింగ్?
Sir, already process.
Start చేశారు సార్ ప్రదీప్ సార్.
ఏం చెప్పారు?
టెస్టిస్ వరకు టెస్టిస్ చెప్పారు సార్.
టెస్టిస్ చెప్పారు. మరి ఇంకా అంటే యూరాలజీ అంటే దే హావ్ టు స్టార్ట్ విత్ కిడ్నీ, రీనల్ క్యాలిక్యులై, ఆర్సిసి, అట్లా రేనల్ ఇంజరీస్ అట్లా చెప్పుకుంటా పోవాలి. అది కింద నుంచి వస్తున్నట్టుంది. టెస్టిస్ ఎండ్ పాయింట్, ఎండ్ టెస్టిస్, స్క్రోటము, పెనిస్ అట్లా వస్తున్నట్టున్నారు. ఓకే, అంటే నేను ఏ టాపిక్ చెప్పేది నాకు చెప్పండి ఇప్పుడు ఫైనల్గా. ఆ గాల్ బ్లాడర్ ఎవరు చెప్తున్నారు? ప్యాంక్రియాస్ సందీప్ సార్ చెప్తున్నారు, లివర్ నేను చెప్తున్నాను. ఎనీబడి ఈస్ టేకింగ్ గాల్ బ్లాడర్, బిలియరీ apparatus?
No, sir.
మరి అది చెప్పేదా లేకపోతే యూరాలజీ చెప్పేదా చెప్పండి నాకు.
Gall bladder చెప్పండి.
గాల్ బ్లాడర్ ఓకేనా?
Yes, sir.
గాల్ బ్లాడర్ నేను ఊర్లో ఉంటే కనుక మండే ఐ విల్ టేక్ గాల్ బ్లాడర్, ఐ విల్ స్టార్ట్. అదర్వైజ్ నెక్స్ట్ మంత్ లో నేను గాల్ బ్లాడర్ స్టార్ట్ చేస్తాను. ఒకవేళ ఈ లోపల ఎనీబడి హ్యావ్ స్టార్టెడ్ గాల్ బ్లాడర్, దెన్ ఐ విల్ స్టార్ట్ యూరాలజీ నెక్స్ట్ మంత్. ఓకే, meanwhile you can complete the internal assessment examination. You write well. Okay, so now the last topic in liver trauma. మన చదివారా హెచ్సిసిలో హెపటోసెల్యులార్ కార్సినోమా, వాట్ ఈస్ టేస్? ఇక అబ్రివేషన్లు కూడా మీకు ఈ మధ్య 2 మార్క్స్ క్వశ్చన్లు ఇస్తున్నారు. టేస్ అంటే ఏంది? అంటే మీరు మళ్ళా చదవాల, చూడండి. ట్రాన్స్ ఆర్టీరియల్ కీమో ఎంబలైజేషన్ అంటే ఇట్స్ ఎ కన్జర్వేటివ్ మెథడ్ అదర్ దాన్ సర్జరీ. దే ఆర్ ది సమ్ ఆఫ్ ది అదర్ మోడాలిటీస్ ఆఫ్ ట్రీట్మెంట్. టేస్, తర్వాత రేడియో ఫ్రీక్వెన్సీ టేర్, ట్రాన్స్ ఆర్టీరియల్ రేడియో ఫ్రీక్వెన్సీ అబ్లేషన్, microwave and chemotherapeutic ablations. All these things are there. What are the other things? Targeted therapy. What is the drug used for which targeted drug is used for hepatocellular carcinoma? Sorafenib. పేరు విన్నారా? జిస్ట్కి ఏది వాడతారు? ఫర్ జిస్ట్ స్టమక్ జిస్ట్ అంటే మీరు జిఐటి యూరాలజీ అసలు టచ్ చేయట్లేదు అనమాట. దీన్ని బట్టి అర్థం. సరే, ఓకే, గుడ్. జిస్ట్కి ఇమాటినిబ్ వాడతారు. దీనికి వచ్చేసి హెపటోసెల్యులార్ కార్సినోమాకి సొరాఫినిబ్. దేర్ ఆర్ టార్గెటెడ్ థెరపీస్, మోనోక్లోనల్ యాంటీబాడీస్. ఓకే, ఓకే, లెట్ us go with the liver trauma. So always in any topic of the liver, what is this segments goes by the name of
Conaid segment.
Coneyard. Goes by the name of Coneyard system of liver segments. So ikkada where is the Cantil's line? Cantil's line ekkada untundi? ఇదేమై ఉంటుంది? వాట్ ఈస్ దిస్? వాట్ ఈస్ దిస్ అండ్ వాట్ ఈస్ దిస్? వాట్ ఈస్ దిస్?
What is
అమ్మా,
hepatic vein to IVC? Middle hepatic vein to opening into IVC.
okay, this is IVC, into which left hepatic vein, middle hepatic vein and right hepatic vein. So where are they located? They are scissura. This is the left scissura, this is the main scissura, and this is the right scissura. So where is the Cantil's line? This is the Cantil's line. సో అంటే మనకి ఇక్కడ ఉంటుంది గాల్ బ్లాడర్, ఈజ్ ద పోర్టల్ వెయిన్, కాబట్టి ఇక్కడ ఉంటుంది గాల్ బ్లాడర్. రిమెంబర్ గాల్ బ్లాడర్ ఈజ్ రిలేటెడ్ టు ది 5 and 4B. 4 కూడా ఇక్కడ A B గా డివైడ్ చేస్తారు. The gall bladder is related, the gall bladder fossa is related to 5 and 4 segments. So from gall bladder fossa to the middle hepatic vein or to the left of the inferior vein. This is the cantil slide which divides the liver into left and right surgical lobes. అంటే మన falciform ligament actually ఇక్కడ ఉంటుంది, falciform. Okay, falciform. So falciform ligament, this is left anatomical lobe, this is all right anatomical, whereas Cantil's line will divide the this is all the left surgical lobe and this is all the right surgical lobe. So you can see the number 1 segment is very much posterior. So what is left hepatectomy? Left hepatectomy or left lobectomy is removal of all these 2, 3, 4. One is not very difficult, I already told you, because it is interspersed between the IVC and portal vein radicals. So very difficult to remove. Removal of these 3 is known as left hepatectomy, and removal of these 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, this is called a right lobectomy or right hepatectomy. So then what is extended right hepatectomy?
5, 6, 7, 8 and 4.
4. Excellent. 5, 6, 7, 8 and 4. Likewise, extended right hepatectomy or trisegmentectomy. Some people call it as trisegment. This is one segment, this is one segment, this is one segment. So the right trisegment. Likewise, extended left hepatectomy at
5, 8 and right hepatectomy.
No, 2, 3, 4 and left together 2, 3, 4 ముందు చెప్పాలి, తర్వాత 5, 8. So this is extended left hepatectomy or left trisegmentectomy. So this is the main nomenclature. ఒక్క సెగ్మెంట్ తీసారు అనుకోండి, just 2, suppose this part of the tumor or cyst is confined to this segment only, so that is called segmentectomy. So this is the simple terminology which will be asked in the examination and you may have to mention. So for any disease of the liver, this is the basis, Punnett system of liver segments. So of course ఈ liver trauma ఇవన్నీ మీరు theory చదవండి. Relatively rare surgical emergency, but mortality and morbidity rates are remain significant. ఇదేదో పాత స్లైడ్ ఏంటి, and because of the increasing road traffic accidents and this stampedes and assaults and all these things, the blood trauma to the liver has been increasing, and that is one of the commonest blood trauma abdomens in which liver is affected. What is the other commonest organ? Spleen. Very good. Spleen is the commonly involved organ in the blood trauma or whatever it is. Then next is the liver. In the liver also, right lobe is more affected because it is in superficial plane when compared to the left. So the patients are taken. So for all, so because of the trauma, what we call is ATLS, పేరేనారా, అడ్వాన్స్డ్ ట్రామా లైఫ్ సపోర్ట్. ఇది చెప్పుంటారు మీకు, ట్రైఏజీ అని చెప్పారు కదా ట్రామా టాపిక్ లో.
Yes sir.
మరి రేపు ఉంది కదా మరి మీకు పోర్షన్, మీకు అదర్ దాన్ GIT అండ్ ఇప్పుడు రేపు ATLS అని ఇస్తే ఏం రాస్తారు? ఎన్ని 2 మార్క్స్ ఇట్లాంటివే పడేది. ట్రైఏజీ, ATLS, BLS ఇటువంటివే పడతాయి, ACLS ఇటువంటివే ఇస్తారు. ప్రీ హాస్పిటల్ ట్రామాటిక్ మేనేజ్మెంట్ ఇవే షార్ట్ నోట్స్ కింద ఇస్తారు. సో ATLS is advanced trauma life support. So any trauma case, whatever may be the, wherever may be the trauma, we have to follow the guidelines of ATLS guidelines. So Likewise, because this is also abdomen trauma, we have to follow ATLS guidelines. ATLS guidelines అంటే ఏం లేదు, ఇనిషియల్ అసెస్మెంట్ అంటే మేనేజ్మెంట్ ఆఫ్ ABCDE, ఇనిషియల్ అసెస్మెంట్, తర్వాత సెకండరీ అసెస్మెంట్, ఇనిషియల్ ట్రీట్మెంట్, సెకండరీ అసెస్మెంట్, డెఫినెటివ్ ట్రీట్మెంట్. ఇట్లా కొన్ని స్టెప్స్ ఉంటాయి. ఇది మీకు ట్రామా చాప్టర్ కూడా చదవండి, దే విల్ బి ఆస్కింగ్. ఓకే, అట్లీస్ట్ ATLS పేర్లను తెలుసుకోవాలి. ట్రయేజ్ కామన్లీ ఆస్క్డ్ క్వశ్చన్, షార్ట్ నోట్స్. సో diagnosis of hepatic injury can be facilitated by ultrasonography and CT. As usual, all these investigations will be done. So the management of liver trauma is altered, is changed with the advent of this CT technology. CT, because the advent of CT, the management of liver trauma, especially the blunt injuries, has drastically changed. That we go through. So liver injuries, though well protected by right chest wall, injury to the liver, major vessels, biliaries are often seen. The penetrating, it can be both penetrating or blunt injuries. So penetrating anna undachu, blunt injuries anna undachu. So these are the various mechanisms of the injury: decelerating injuries, direct blow, compression between lower ribs and spine injury, injury to the caudate lobe, spinal injury. Unnappudu you have to suspect injury to the caudate lobe because it is very much posterior. Caudate lobe is very posterior. See in the diagram, anterior diagram, we cannot see the caudate lobe. It is near the IVC and portal veins. See, this is the caudate lobe. See, this is the caudate lobe. It is peculiar. It will have both blood supply from the right lobe and left lobe, and it's very difficult to remove the caudate lobe even in left lobectomy or hepatectomy because it is very close to the portal triad and hilum of the liver and IVC. So very difficult. So left hepatectomy, usually they will remove these three only. Okay, right hepatectomy of course complete. Direct blow, gunshot wounds and stabs. So it can be both. So see the road traffic accidents, fall from height, injuries, personal blow by people, stampede. Stampede అంటే ఏంటి? గుంపులుగా పరిగెత్తి తొక్కుంటూ వెళ్ళిపోవడం, ఆర్ ఇంజరీ బై ది bull boar or elephant or wild animals. So all these things can cause blunt trauma of the abdomen. And penetrating trauma ఎక్కడ ఉంటుంది? Penetrating trauma either by stab wounds, gunshots, or bomb blasts, and all those things, they will cause penetrating wounds. So these are all the for the blunt injuries of the liver. So once the patient has had injury of the liver, and if it happened in the nearby the hospital, he will directly come to the hospital. If it is in the field and is very distant from the hospital, you have to start the treatment according to the ATLS guidelines from the spot itself. So always remember that point. For any trauma case, the treatment will start from the spot of the injury, from the place where injury has occurred. That you have to keep in your mind. That's why everybody, every medical professional and technicians, they must be competent with the principles of BCLS, basic life support, BLS, and ATLS guidelines and all those things. So in the liver, is the patient hemodynamically stable? Is there any peritonism? And what is the response to the resuscitation? And how good is imaging in the setup? For example, it happened in a remote place, there will not be even ultrasound also. Even if there is ultrasound, CT is mandatory before proceeding for all the things. So these are the points you have to keep in your mind. So this is the ATLS protocol. So in all trauma, everywhere they will be mentioning ATLS. Advanced Trauma Life Support System. Recommended. See, according to ATLS protocol, in which immediate laparotomy is recommended for patients who have sustained abdominal trauma and who are hemodynamically unstable. You remember. So, what do you mean by hemodynamically unstable and stable? In the chart only, hemodynamic stability was defined as systolic BP more than 100 and pulse rate less than 100. Okay, systolic BP must be more than 100 and pulse rate must be below 100. So that means the patient is hemodynamically stable. When hemodynamically stable, there is no chance for, and we should not go for immediate surgeries. Only conservative management or damage control surgery you have to think of. When the patient is unstable, hemodynamically unstable, that means the BP is still falling down, the pulse rate is increasing, oxygen saturation is, everything is going down, metabolic changes is happening, that he is hemodynamically unstable. That means major injury, major trauma happened in the abdomen. Then you have to go for laparotomy. So open surgery. So this is a fundamental principle in liver surgery. Remember, the patient is stable, you have to go for conservative surgery, conservative management. So all these things will come across. And when the patient is unstable, then you have to think of laparotomy. And this for conservative management, and almost all the patients have liver trauma, unless the patient cannot be moved from the table and there is no time, because CT surgery, CT scan will take a lot of time. So in the hemodynamically stable patients, you have to take CT of the abdomen, of the liver. That is mandatory. Okay. So that is how you have to assessment once the patient is brought to the emergency medical department. So casualty, you have to assess like this. A blunt abdominal trauma, patient is conscious but hemodynamically unstable. There is peritonism and unstable even after 2 liters of IV fluids. Then immediate laparotomy without investigation. Sometimes you should not go for, you need not go for investigations because the picture is suggesting of major abdominal trauma, especially liver, and the patient is hemodynamically stable. You should not waste the time. Hemodynamically unstable. That means there is bleeding is occurring. So that's why immediately has to be taken for laparotomy. And after blunt abdominal trauma, stable after 2 liters of IV fluids. So further radiology. So the patient is stable. So you go for CECT, CT abdomen, CT liver, and you can observe. Okay. And gunshot wounds, regardless of the signs. Gunshot is a penetrating. So all penetrating wounds, whatever may be the signs and symptoms. So gunshot wound, see stab wound, stab wound. So gunshot, stab, all penetrating wounds, they must go for laparotomy. They must go for laparotomy. So blunt trauma with unstable and with all these symptoms and all penetrating cases must go for laparotomy. Only blunt abdominal trauma with hemodynamically stable, you can go for conservative management. That is, you can submit the patient for CT and serial CTs, whether the patient is improving, that the hemorrhage is decreasing or not, you can observe. This is how you have to assess in the emergency medicine department. So you know the signs and symptoms of hepatic injuries. చెప్పండి ఏముంటాయి? సో రైట్ సైడ్ బ్లంట్ కానీ పెనట్రేషన్ కానీ ఏముంటుంది? సేమ్ అంతా రైట్ అప్పర్ క్వాడ్రంట్ లోనే పెయిన్ ఉంటుంది. దేర్ మే నాట్ బి స్వెల్లింగ్ because liver is already injured. There will not be any swelling. But if there is hemorrhage into the peritoneal cavity, you will have that rigidity, spasm, and involuntary guarding, that peritonism. So blood is not that irritant as, for example, in duodenal ulcer perforation, what is the irritant there? What is the material?
Blood.
Duodenal ulcer perforation. What is the material that is coming into the peritoneal cavity?
Acid. HCl.
Amma?
Acid, sir.
ఏంటి అర్థం కాదు. ఇప్పుడు duodenal ulcer perforation.
Gastroduodenary bleeding, sir.
బ్లీడింగ్ సరే, బ్లీడింగ్ ఉంటే అది కూడా GIT లోనే ఉంటుంది. ఇన్ duodenal ulcer perforation, the stomach and duodenal contents bile will enter into the peritoneal cavity. That is highly irritant to the peritoneal cavity. So the classical guarding and rigidity, both like rigidity, will occur with the duodenal ulcer perforation. But blood also in the peritoneal cavity will cause peritonitis. It is not as severe as in the duodenal ulcer perforation. Differences కొంచెం మీరు తెలుసుకోవాలి. Okay, and rebound tenderness, signs of hemorrhage, all those things will be there if there is liver. See, and what is other most important thing, because it is covered by the rib cage, lower ribs, kada? So there may be fracture of the ribs will be present, and especially in road traffic accidents, usually there will be lower rib fracture will be usually associated, and associated hydropneumothorax, pneumothorax also might be present. But fracture ribs is quite common in the case of hepatic injuries, because the liver is protected, normally protected by the lower ribs. Okay. So these are all the investigations. మీకు తెలిసిందే కదా, X-rayలు, CTలు, and in the abdomen and for the liver, two important words you have to remember. What are they? DPL, diagnostic peritoneal lavage. It has been given as 2 marks. That is the DPL and istar. Fast, ఇంకోటి ఫాస్ట్ అని ఉంటుంది. ఫోకస్డ్ ఇది ఫాస్ట్ అంటే అల్ట్రాసౌండ్, ఫోకస్డ్ అల్ట్రాసౌండ్ ఆఫ్ ది అబ్డమెన్. Especially in trauma lo chese ultrasound of the abdomen is known as fast. Focused abdominal ultrasound, fast. Okay, so that is avi kotta terms, diagnostic. Of course ఇది abdominal trauma lo cheptaru, but some of the common causes for abdominal trauma is liver trauma, spleen and liver trauma, where there will be a lot of hemorrhage into the peritoneal cavity. So diagnostic peritoneal lavage and fast are the new terms in the liver trauma. Apart from this, arteriography, angiography, MRI, and radionucleotide studies, all those things you have to suspect. You have to investigate the patient depending on the requirement. And if the patient is unstable, as I already told you, if the patient is unstable, you have to go for directly take him to the theater, because you cannot wait for all these X-rays and CTs and all those things, because they will take some time. By that time, the patient will still become more unstable. So the patient is unstable, you have to take directly to the theater, and if necessary, open the abdomen and you first control the hemorrhage from the liver or whatever, wherever may be the injury. So this is the plain X-ray of the abdomen. You see, although plain X-ray abdomen can demonstrate numerous findings, their place in acute trauma is limited because of the spinal precautions, hemodynamic instability, and time-consuming and patient discomfort. X-ray తీయాలంటే నిలబెట్టాలి అసలే వాడు, because he is having agonizing pain because of the trauma and his mild instability is happening. So ఇవన్నీ ఉన్నా కానీ ఈ abdominal X-ray has got limited role. So what are the things that you can diagnose? Suppose by luck you have taken the abdominal X-ray. See, what is this? In lying down posture, what is this? What is this?
Pneumothorax.
Pneumothorax kadale. This is right lung, kada? This is right lung. Right ribs to right lung. Then what is this?
Diaphragm.
Diaphragm. So then what is this? With the diaphragm.
Ruptured air under.
Air అంటే మనం ఎప్పుడు, because you have seen always the X-ray in the erect posture. So erect posture అప్పుడు క్లియర్ గా మీకు డోమ్స్ అట్లా తెలుస్తుంది. But this has been taken in the lying down posture because the patient is not able to will not able to move properly because the patient is having severe trauma. Okay, so this is, then what does it indicate? Is the free air under the dome of the diaphragm. That means the liver is injured. And what else is injured? Along with the liver, what else is injured when there is a free air under the dome of the diaphragm?
Ribs.
Ribs ఉంటే న్యూమోథరాక్స్, టెన్షన్ న్యూమోథరాక్స్, ప్లోరల్ ఎఫ్యూషన్ అది ఉంటుంది. ఇక్కడ న్యూమోపెరిటోనియం. Free air under the dome of the diaphragm, pneumoperitoneum ఉంటే ఏమని? There is a perforation.
Bowels or bowel perforation.
Bowel, hollow viscous injury is there. Blunt injury ఇక్కడ కొట్టాడు అనుకోండి, liver fracture ribs ఉండొచ్చు, liver trauma ఉండొచ్చు, and to that pressure there may be some injury to the bowels also. Only when there is injury to the bowel there will be pneumoperitoneum. కదా, perforation ఉంటేనే pneumoperitoneum. And the liver is very close to the duodenum and colons. They may be perforated, they may be injured. So all these things you have to keep in your mind. It a pneumoperitoneum unte, no further investigations. You give basic life support, that is preoperative preparation, IV fluids and all those things, and immediately go to the theatre because already bowels have perforated. The patient is unstable. Unless you tackle in time, the patient will go into septic shock. So this is a simple X-ray has given the clue that the patient must be operated immediately. So you can CT lo endi kuda avasam la. If possible, you can take CT, but this is sufficient to say that the patient must be operated. This is associated, see, open book pelvic fracture. So because you have to, and remember always in any trauma case, you have to look for injuries elsewhere. So the entire body, especially in the road traffic accidents, because they are common nowadays, especially road traffic accidents, the patient has complete pain in the right side of the chest, that is liver, but you should not be quite with that. You have to see, examine, because after trauma, the patient might have fallen. There may be head injury, pelvic injury, fracture to other bones, ribs, and all those things. So as a rule, you have to examine the patient as a whole, concentrating on the main injury and starting the resuscitation procedures. You have to examine the patient as a whole, not only for clinical purposes, but also for medical legal purposes. So this is the ultrasound to the liver. Inexpensive, freely available, familiarity with the test anybody can do who are having little knowledge on the ultrasound. High quality compact units, ability to spot the blood fast. So if there is any bleeding, anything can be done. So after plain X-ray, the initial diagnostic screening test, either in stable or unstable patients, is ultrasound. Because the patient stable or not, but usually we do not suggest plain X-ray of the abdomen because you cannot move the patient freely. And if you have taken the plain X-ray of the abdomen, if there is free air, that is sufficient to open the abdomen. And if time permits, you can do ultrasound where you can see the blood in the peritoneal cavity, or injury to the liver, or injury to the some of the things you can diagnose. Okay, and it has got 85% sensitivity and 99.57 specificity. So this is the initial screening test. And I already told you fast, focused assessment of sonography in trauma. Focused assessment of sonography in trauma, fast. ఇది షార్ట్ నోట్స్ కింద చాలా సార్లు ఇచ్చారు. డిపిఎల్ ఫాస్ట్ 2 ఇచ్చారు. సో ఇన్ ఫాస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ది అబ్డమెన్, so fast of the chest, fast of the pelvis, like that. So it is a decision making tool to help determine the need for transfer to the operating room, CT scanner or angiography suite. Fast లో బ్లడ్ బాగా ఎక్కువ ఉందనుకో and the bleeding is increasing, the abdominal girth is increasing, then you can directly you should not wait for the CT and all those things. Directly go to the theater to control the hemorrhage. Suppose the patient is stable, then you go for CT scanner, and if you in the CT scan, if you suspect any bleeding in the internal vessels of the liver, you can go for angiography and you can block that vessel. So fast is a decision making tool. Okay, this is also one examination, very important examination. It is nothing but ultrasound, a focused assessment. Ultrasound with more focus on the injured part. Okay, so fast examines 4 areas for free fluid. Entavi Morrison's pouch. What is Morrison's pouch? Telsa?
Hepatorenal pouch.
Very good. Perisplenic. So adi kuda chodali. Along with liver, you have to look for associated injuries. The other common is the spleen. Okay, and pelvis. So if at all, suppose there is only minor hemorrhage, minor bleeding into the peritoneal cavity, it will trickle down into the pelvis. So Morrison pouch, perisplenic place, pelvis, and pericardium. Because the liver is very close to the especially the left lobe is very close to the pericardium, heart. You have to look for in the fast, you have to look for these 4 areas. Fast is a very important short notes. The examination lepistano chadavandi. And the other one is the diagnostic peritoneal lavage. That means if there is any bleeding into the peritoneal cavity, this diagnostic peritoneal lavage can be done. But if there is a frank bleeding, there is a lot of bleeding, it can be detected by the ultrasound itself. Okay, so the diagnostic this DPL, when will you do this DPL? So when the bleeding in the peritoneal cavity is less, suppose this is the blood. If the blood completely occupying the abdomen, that is there is massive hemorrhage into the peritoneal cavity, it can be detected by the ultrasound itself. And when the bleeding is very much less, which cannot be detected by the ultrasound, then you will do this DPL technique, diagnostic peritoneal lavage. So you give a lot of saline into the peritoneal cavity and you drain the contents of the peritoneal cavity. Right? So you are giving the clear fluid, the contents are blood stained. That means there is already hemorrhage into the peritoneal cavity. This is the diagnostic peritoneal lavage. Of course, nowadays people are not doing this very much, and not only cumbersome, it's not of much value. But fast is very much important along with the CT. Okay, but DPL కూడా ఇచ్చారు, తెలుసుకోవాలి. You must know the principle. So give normal saline, and after some time you drain the contents of the peritoneal cavity. If it is blood stained, that means there is the peritoneum is having the blood, hemoperitoneum is there. Then you have to go for laparotomy. That is the thing. And the standard evaluation method for all solid organ injuries is the CT scan. Ekkada evariki? In stable patients. I have already told you, hemodynamically stable patients only are to be submitted to all these majority of the investigations. Otherwise, only because CT scan, it will take 1 hour or 2 hours. Go to radiology with CT, it will take 1 or 2 hours, and the report another half an hour, like that. So by that time, the stable patient will become more unstable. He will go to unstability. Okay, only the hemodynamically clearly stable patients, this is the investigation of choice. And of course, mild instability is there. then also you can go for CT scan. So that is where you have to use your clinical judgment. In the CT scan, it accurately delineates the anatomy of the injury, status of retroperitoneum and other organs, volume of intraperitoneal blood. Okay, but there are some drawbacks, not useful in unstable patients because of the time it requires. It takes more than 2 to 3 hours. So in unstable patients, you should not go wait for the CT scan. Instability means definitely there is hemodynamically unstable means there is more bleeding into the peritoneal cavity or rupture of the bowel with the peritonism and peritonitis. So some catastrophe is already there in the abdomen where you should not wait for CT. And CT grading does not correlate precisely with the subsequent operative fatigue. And single greatest contributing factor allowing for non-operative management of blunt hepatic injuries. So in stable patients, though there is some little bleeding or trauma to the liver or some other organs, the patient is stable, so you can take the CT and you can confidently give conservative management. Okay, because when the patient is unstable, there is no CT and nothing. You just give resuscitation measures and go for surgery. So these are some of the points you have to think. Interpretation of the CT scan grading, contrast blush, the CT scan and then contrast the CT, periportal tracking of the contrast, very important because whether the periportal vessels, hilum or whether there is any injury to the hilum, all these things can be interpreted in the CT scan. Devitalized or non-perfused parenchyma, hemoperitoneum and other associated organs injuries. All these things can be assessed by CT scan. So CT scan abdomen is ultimate best investigation, but only in stable patients and where you are contemplating conservative management. So you see, you can see the CT abdomen showing the hematoma in the liver. So in this patient, so there is a hematoma already in the liver, and you should not rush for the surgery unless there are another. If the patient is stable, you should not rush for laparotomy and surgery. And if you want to go for laparotomy, that means if you want, because this is conservative management is sufficient for this case. The liver hematoma undi bleeding zarigipotundani, you should not open. So that is the advantage of the CT. So after next day you will take the again CT, and whether the hematoma is increasing or not, you will observe. And if suppose the patient this is only in hemodynamically stable patient, all these things are possible. The patient is hemodynamically unstable, there is no CT, nothing. Directly go to the OT, emergency theatre. So this is CT grading of the liver injury. AAST, American Association of American Society for Trauma. The liver injury chadavandi simple. CT grading of the liver injury. See, CT grading. See, grade 1 is, so in every grade there is hematoma, laceration. What is this hematoma? Where is this hematoma? Where is this hematoma? Chadavandamai.
Subcapsular.
So liver is having capsule. What do you call that capsule? What is the name of the capsule of the liver? Glisson's capsule. Glisson's capsule. So see, this is the capsule of the liver where you can see the hematoma. So depending on the size of the hematoma, the various grades are given. You see, in grade 1, subcapsular, less than 10% of the surface area. In grade 2, subcapsular, all are subcapsular. Hematoma means always subcapsular, less than 50% of the surface area. In grade 3, more than 50% of the surface area. Of course, in grade 4, there is no hematoma formation because there is major trauma to the liver, only parenchymal disruption will be there. So depending on these hematomas, the grades will be, the various grades will be, grades are given. And simultaneously, not only this hematoma, but also injury, laceration, injury to the parenchyma also. And in grade 1, the capsular tear plus laceration only less than 1 centimeter. So small depth of liver laceration, liver injury, parenchymal injury, less than 1 centimeter depth. So subcapsular hematoma less than 10% or less than 1 centimeter depth of laceration. This is all grade 1. See, in all grades, both hematoma and laceration will be there. And in second grade, hematoma is less than 50% surface, but intraparenchymal laceration is 10 centimeters. So there will be big laceration. Tear will be there into the liver. Even then, even in grade 1, grade 2, and grade 3 also, because the hematoma is subcapsular, and the depth of the laceration is limited, less than 10 centimeters. See, in grade 1, less than 1 centimeter, grade 2, 1 to 3 centimeters, in grade 3, a little more than 3 centimeters, but little less than 10 centimeters. So, in all these cases, grade 1 to grade 3, you can go for conservative management. So, in all these patients, first you have to observe what you have to observe, whether the patient is hemodynamically stable or unstable. So, luckily you have taken the CT scan. See, suppose the patient is grade 3, subcapsular 50% area with intraparenchymal less than more than 10 centimeters and laceration depth is more than 10 centimeters. So, but this is the CT finding. But what about the clinical finding? Whether the patient is stable or not. That is the most important, single most important factor. Whether the patient is hemodynamically stable or not is also very important apart from this CT grade. Okay. And if it is unstable, go to the theater. That's all. Start resuscitation measures immediately. Of course, resuscitation starts from the place of trauma. Already told you. Pre-hospital resuscitation. That triage, selection, and all those things, fluids and all those things must be started before the patient is coming to the hospital itself. So, ante 108 lo వాళ్ళందరికీ training ఇస్తారు కదా ambulance లో కదా, that you have to keep in your mind. So this is grade 1. This is grade 2. Grade 2 is this is the intraparenchymal depth. See, this is the either ఈ కేసులో subcapsular hematoma లేదు. Okay, but there is parenchymal laceration is there. ఈ ఒకటన్నా subcapsular hematoma or parenchymal laceration or both, but within these limits. So this is called grade 2. Okay, so grade 2 is subcapsular hematoma less than 50%. ఈ కేసులో లేదు, but the patient is having less than centimeters of intraparenchymal laceration. See the laceration here. So this is how you have to grade the thing. You have to read and little carefully. Okay, and this is grade 3. Grade 3 means subcapsular hematoma more than 50%. You can see this is all hematoma. This is all blood hematoma. So more than 50% of the surface of the liver is occupied by this hematoma. And if at all there is any laceration, it will be more than 3 centimeters. ఇది కాదులే, this is also ligament. Well, if at all there is any laceration into the liver, it will be more than 3 centimeters depth. So that comes under grade 3. Up to grade 4 is parenchymal disruption of a lobe or 1 to 3 segments. You see, almost the right lobe is shattered. See, parenchymal disruption of the more than of a lobe or 1 to 3 segments is grade 4. So lot of brain tissue, liver tissue is disrupted. Okay, and disruption more than 75% of a lobe, or more than, sorry, this is 1 to 3 segments is grade 4, and grade 5 is grade 5 బొమ్మ లేదు. Grade 5 is
More than 75%.
more than 70% of the parenchymal disruption, or of a lobe, or more than 3 segments. కదా, రైట్ లోబ్ లో 4 ఉంటాయి, more than 3 segments means more than 75%. Okay, and the vascular involvement also. Juxtahepatic venous injuries like IVC and hepatic veins. So that comes under grade 5. And of course there is grade 6 also. And that, see, grade 6 is there. Vascular hepatic avulsion. So almost the liver is anchored how by the ligaments, and posteriorly it is anchored to the inferior vena cava. So it will come out, it will be avulsed from the major vessels of the liver. So akada porta hepatis will be injured, and that inferior vena cava might be injured, and the liver will be, that's called avulsion of the liver. That is called 6th grade. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3 can be managed with the help of CT and observation, ICU management conservatively, because these patients are, most of the times they will be stable, and 4, 5, 6 are, most of these patients are unstable, which requires immediate laparotomy. That is the thing, you please remember. Classify as much grade as available criteria. See, liver with subcapsular hematoma with area more than 50%, half of the surface area. అంటే ఏం గ్రేడ్? ఇందాక చెప్పాం కదా సిటీ గ్రేడ్ లో
Third
more than
grade.
third grade. There is avulsion. మనం ఏంటి, just by looking at the hematoma you should not be happy. Oh, this is only third grade, you can go for conservative management. I told you grade 1, 2, 3 are for conservative management most of the times, but there is avulsion. So in such case the stage is 6, not 3. So by just looking at the one finding you should not be happy. So subcapsular hematoma you have to look for, you have to look for the vessels, you have to look for the parenchymal damage, and avulsion of the liver, and all those things you have to take into consideration. So not with one grade, one finding you should come to the conclusion. Why we are doing all this staging? తెలిసిందే కదా, for prognosis and management. So 4, 5, 6 need surgical intervention. Most of the times they are unstable and it requires surgical intervention. 1, 2, 3 can be managed by conservative management. సార్ క్లాసులో ఉన్నాను, మళ్ళా చేస్తాను సార్, ఒక అర్ధగంట చేస్తాను. Of course, they are the comparisons of the investigations what we have discussed. మీకు ఈ సెన్సిటివిటీ స్పెసిఫిసిటీస్ అంటే ఇవన్నీ తెలుసుకోండి, చదవండి. And they have compared the CT scan, FAST and DPL. Though DPL is 100% sensitive, the accuracy is 95%. It is more cumbersome and it cannot evaluate the retroperitoneum because we are injecting the saline into the peritoneal cavity only. So what is happening in the retroperitoneum cannot be identified by this DPL or FAST. And what is the disadvantage with CT? CT cannot be done in unstable patient. So each test is having some limitations with their specificity and specificities. Here, ఓపిక ఉంటే ఇది కూడా చూడండి. And the last but not the least investigation, important investigation is the laparoscopy. So diagnostic laparoscopy, and simultaneously you can go for treatment. Okay, suppose you have done laparoscopy for the suspecting liver trauma, and you have done laparoscopy, and you can see the other injuries also, because you are exploring the abdomen. Suppose simultaneously if a small tear is there in the liver or hematoma within the capsule, you should not disturb. There is a tear in the liver, you can do suturing. Or if there is a simultaneous damage to the bowel is there, you can suture. So all these things, advantages and disadvantages with laparoscopy are also. See, no compelling evidence that laparoscopy helps in selecting patients with liver injuries not requiring surgical intervention. So surgical intervention అవసరం లేని వాళ్ళకి laparoscopy కూడా is not a compelling indication. Depending on the availability and more experience with the laparoscopy, and simultaneously you can tackle the treatment of the internal abdominal findings. So this is not a compelling investigation for the, especially for the liver trauma. And it has a definite role, however, in blunt abdominal with equivocal signs. So fast to CT, DPL, X-ray, and we are not able to give correct diagnosis. Then you can go for this laparoscopy, diagnostic laparoscopy. So it is also, it has got its own limitations, and it has got advantages, and especially it is useful when there is injury to the associated diaphragmatic injuries. So liver is closely related to the diaphragm. So this injury to the diaphragm, and they may be missed in CT or in ultrasound. Okay, so in that cases, while doing the laparoscopy, because we will explore entire abdomen, we can see the diaphragmatic injuries and diaphragmatic ruptures. So once you have diagnosed blunt liver trauma, then you have to go for the management. And before that, we have to investigations. What are the other investigations apart from all these high-fi investigations? Blood counts, liver function tests, especially bleeding, coagulation profile, ITPNR, D-dimer, ఇవన్నీ చాలా important, because the organ that is damaged is the liver. So immediately the functions of the liver will be altered. So all these things you have to take into consideration. And the patient may not come immediately. The patient may come because there will be some pain in the right hypochondrium. He may tolerate, some people will tolerate, and by the time they come to the hospital, already the liver might be deranged condition. So all liver function tests, including coagulation profile and all those things, and hematocrit, blood counts and all those things, blood HB and blood grouping and all those things are routine. They must be done, okay, as usual. And mainly the treatment of the liver is divided into blunt injury of the liver and what is the opposite to blunt? Penetrating injury.
Penetrating.
Blunt injury ante accidents, blows, falls and all those things. డొక్కల కొట్టాడంటారు చూసారా, ఆ సినిమాలో భారతీయుడు సినిమాలో వాడు కొట్టగానే చచ్చిపోతాడే అట్లా. That is because they give a sudden blow on the liver or on the spleen. There will be torrential hemorrhage and the patient will, or the candidate will collapse and die. And special techniques, okay. And especially the spleen చెప్పినప్పుడు మీకు చెప్పుంటారు, and the spleen is already enlarged either by various conditions of hypersplenism or malaria. One ఇక్కడ left hypochondrium కొట్టారనుకోండి, that the spleen will rupture very easily than the normal liver. So all these things you must correlate and know. So the management of the liver injuries is depending on whether it is blunt trauma or penetrating trauma. Penetrating trauma, always surgery. Whatever may be the internal condition, whatever may be the status of the other investigations, you stabilize the patient and you go for laparoscopy. So always surgery. And for the blunt trauma, if the patient is stable, for blunt trauma, if the patient is hemodynamically stable, always conservative management. And if it is blunt trauma and the patient is still again unstable, immediately you have to do laparoscopy. Okay, though it is blunt trauma, that means blunt trauma, most important investigation is CECT. You assess the subcapsular hematoma and all those things, and injury into the liver parenchymal depth and all those things, injury to the vessels and all those things. Depending on that, blunt trauma, 1 to 3 grades, they can be managed. The patient is stable, they can be managed conservatively. Okay, and if whatever may be the stage, if the patient is unstable, or all penetrating injuries to the liver must be operated. Here you have to do like exploratory laparotomy and management of the liver injury you have to do. Okay. Blunt injuries can be tried to manage by conservative treatment initially, because depending on the hemodynamic stability. So what are the non-operative measures that are available? See, 50 to 80%, because how the idea of this non-operative management has come, 50 to 80% of the liver injuries stop bleeding spontaneously, because that is God-given gift. So we should not be in hurry and there is a bleeding from the liver. Okay, if it is very small. So for that also, then you have to go for, according to, this is the general statement, according to CT, depending on the amount of bleeding into the peritoneal cavity, you have to think in all these things. So non-operative management, how the idea of non-operative management is created, 50 to 80% of the liver injuries stop bleeding spontaneously, and success with pediatric, this has been observed in pediatric splenic injuries also. So in liver and spleen, suppose there is some bleeding, there will be by non-operative management, it can be assessed and managed. And with the help of CT, you can constantly do the monitoring, and whether the patient is improving or deteriorating, you can do, and then you can go for the necessary treatment. So the selection criteria for non-operative management are hemodynamic stability is most important, and there should not be any peritoneal signs, ante peritonism, guarding, or in the X-ray pneumoperitoneum. When all those things are there, the patient is not for non-operative management. And good quality of the CT scan and the experienced radiologist must be available, whether the patient is improving, because serial observation is important. And there must be good ICU and monitoring and facility for immediate surgery if required. Suppose you have been constantly observing, but the patient at one point, the patient is improving, it is well. One point the patient may deteriorate, where there must be facility for emergency operation. Then only you have to select the, you have to go for the non-operative management. And what is the problem with the non-operative management? Not complication, therefore complication is the problem. Hemorrhage is the commonest cause of failure. So you are doing the non-operative management. When will the non-operative management will fail? Suppose there is internal bleeding is increasing, hemorrhage from the trauma site. So then there is no chance for non-operative management continuously giving. And immediately you have to explore the abdomen. Okay. And small, see, 2 important points. See, it is a mistake to attribute hemorrhage to be non-hepatic cause without CT verification. So abdominal hemorrhage bleeding into the abdomen, especially in the blunt trauma. Most of the times, if it is on the right side, it is from the liver, or from the left side, it is from the spleen. So without that ultrasound or CT evidence, you should not say it is not from the liver or from the some other structure, something like that. And massive transfusion during non-operative management is not recommended. During non-operative period, massive transfusion is not recommended. Otherwise, the patient will go for dilutional coagulopathy. So, recommendations for ongoing or slow-going bleed. Suppose the patient is stable, we have been giving the conservative management, that is in ICU, that is observation of all the parameters, urine output, and the ABCD and all those things. So you have been. Then, if the patient is stable, we repeat the CT scan. Still, there is some bleeding is slowly increasing. When the patient is stable, then you can try angiography. చెప్పాను కదా, యాంజియోగ్రఫీ చేయొచ్చు, అండ్ యూ కెన్ ట్రై యాంజియో ఎంబలైజేషన్. యాంజియో ఎంబలైజేషన్ ఎక్కడ చేసాం, మనం హెచ్సిసిలో కూడా చేసాం. దట్ ఈస్ టేస్, ట్రాన్స్ ఆర్టీరియల్ కీమో ఎంబలైజేషన్. అంటే అక్కడ ఏంటంటే యాంటీ మ్యాలిగ్నెంట్ డ్రగ్స్, అంటే క్యాన్సర్ కీమోథెరపీ డ్రగ్స్ విల్ బి గివెన్ యాజ్ ఎంబలై, whereas in this case it is different. So angiography, angio embolization we will try, and it also failed. Suppose the angio embolization facility, angiography facility is not there, repeat the CT scan and the patient is becoming unstable, then you have to go for laparotomy. Okay, and if in the beginning itself, if the patient is unstable, there is no question of conservative management, you have to directly go for laparotomy. Of course, the latest modality is angiographic embolization, and if it is possible, suppose by CT scan or angiography, you can see from which vessel the bleeding is coming. So through angiography intervention, you can block that vessel by embolization. So all these new techniques have come, and if it is not possible, then open surgeries and control of the bleeding you have to take. And the absolute indications for surgery. So you are doing the conservative management, ICU management, observation, and serial CT and all those things. Especially blunt trauma in stable patients. And if he is blunt trauma in a unstable, laparotomy. All penetrating injuries, laparotomy. Okay, blunt trauma with stable, hemodynamically stable patients, the conservative management, what we have seen, serial CT analysis and all those things. And if there is improvement, you can continue the conservative management. If there is no improvement, then you have to go for laparotomy. So what are they? Persistent hemodynamic instability and more than 4 units of transfusion over 12 hours for liver related bleeding. So more than 4 units, that is almost he is going for massive transfusion. More than 12 units within 12 hours means, so in spite of you are giving the blood, the patient is bleeding into the abdominal cavity. And failed angioembolization. Suppose you are having the facility, you have done angioembolization. In spite of that, the patient is bleeding. And the source of hemorrhage is undetermined. So even with angiography, you are not able to, on CT scan, you are not able to delineate the source of hemorrhage and associated trauma to the other organs which require surgery. So in all these cases, there is no question of conservative management. So this is only conservative management. If the patient is going for instability, then with all these criteria, you have to go for open laparotomy, expedited laparotomy and management. So these are the indications for laparotomy. బొమ్మ బాగుందని పెట్టాను కదా. Shock with expanding abdomen, pneumoperitoneum, retroperitoneal hair, ఇట్లా ఎవరు ఉందనుకో, that means you have to suspect more bleeding. Hemorrhagic shock అనమాట. అదే pneumoperitoneum ఉందంటే injury to the bowels. Okay, stable with the peritoneal signs. Stable with the peritoneal signs ఉందనుకో, so then stable with the peritoneal signs. Stable with the peritoneal signs means the patient is unstable కింద లెక్క. That means peritoneal signs ఎప్పుడు ఉంటాయి? When will there be peritoneal signs? When there is bleeding, pneumoperitoneum, or when there is injury to the hollow viscus. So in such cases, though initially the patient is stable, we should not wait for all these things. So signs of peritoneal irritation is very important clinical finding which requires immediate laparoscopy. So this is the stable patient, but he is becoming unstable. So expanding abdomen means, so you are doing conservative management, so persistent hemorrhage into the peritoneal cavity, or slowly the patient is developing pneumoperitoneum because the perforation is very small, very little air may be entering into the peritoneal cavity. So in the initial time, there may not be pneumoperitoneum, and there may be, and it may be gradually increased. So in all those conditions, laparoscopy. Though the patient is stable, so the stable patient becoming unstable, or the stable patient with immediate peritoneal signs, you must go for operation, and unstable patient with peritoneal signs. Any unstable patient, whether there is peritoneal signs or not, and all those things, you have to go for laparoscopy. So in the penetrating blunt trauma lo and penetrating trauma lo, the initial management is same kada, according to the ABCD. Antega A, airway, breathing, circulation. D ante enti? Cross matching, blood ready ga pettukovali, and fresh frozen plasma because there will be coagulation factors deficiency, hemogram, electrolytes, creatinine, and all those things, and correction of coagulopathies by giving either vitamin K or platelets or మేడం క్లాస్ ఉందా ఏంటి? లావణ్య మేడం.
Yes, sir.
Okay, staged management. So once you have opened the abdomen, once you have done open the abdomen, what you call is the staged management or damage control surgery, DCS. Damage control surgery కూడా మీకు ఇది పీజీస్కి అయితే 10 మార్క్స్ క్వశ్చన్, మీకైతే 2 మార్క్స్ క్వశ్చన్. డ్యామేజ్ కంట్రోల్ సర్జరీ. మీకు ట్రామా చెప్పలేదంటారు, ఈ పదాలన్నీ మీరు డ్రామాలో వినుండాలి. ఓకే, స్టేజ్డ్ మేనేజ్మెంట్ ఆర్ డ్యామేజ్ కంట్రోల్ సర్జరీ. సో వైల్ డూయింగ్ ది staging management, you must be very important apart from the investigations and this is also asked in the examination. Physiological fear, impending physiological fear, afraid of death, ఇది గుర్తుపెట్టుకో, afraid of death, coagulopathy, hypothermia, metabolic acidosis. ఈ మూడు కన్నా ఉన్నాయంటే the patient is almost, we are losing the patient. So you must be constantly observing for this coagulopathy. That means because it is in the liver, the coagulation factors might be deficient, or hypothermia because the liver is also participating in the management of the core body temperature, and metabolic acidosis because the what is produced, all the organic acids are not properly metabolized by the liver, lactic acid and all those things. Okay, this damage control surgery, though it is nowadays popular for almost all the conditions. So in all abdominal trauma, or in fact any trauma, when you are not able to do the definitive treatment in the first sitting, definitive treatment in the first sitting itself, then you can go for this damage control surgery. That means usually do the what is main for example in liver damage. Of course, see, let us come. So damage control laparotomy. So stage management 3 phases ఉంటాయి. Damage control laparotomy. So we have opened the abdomen. You should not go on doing the exploration and all procedures. Which is the main culprit? For example, that in IVC or portal vein, this tear is there. You just block it to prevent hemorrhage, and you close the abdomen. Again, then ICU management, and then you maintain the coagulopathy, normothermia, tissue perfusion, and IV fluids, and you observe for the urine output and all those things. Then again you open the abdomen and you see for the which can be done. For example, in that case, there is a damage to the portal vein. So what is the best that can be done? So end-to-end anastomosis or prosthesis or all those things, you have to think in terms of the damage control surgery. So in the damage control surgery is nothing but staged management of blunt injuries of the abdomen or anywhere. Blunt injuries of abdomen or anywhere. So in the initial period, what is the source of bleeding? You just stop the bleeding and you come out. And again you stabilize the patient by all these measures, and then you go for second surgery. So this is very important. So you see the damage control indications for damage control. Of course, make 1000 ledu, and the main thing is hemodynamic instability. So this is damage control not only for the liver, for any place. Damage control surgery, I already told you, in any injuries, if you are not able to do the definitive treatment in one sitting, then you can go for damage control surgery. So you first tackle the main culprit of the injury, and you close the abdomen. Then just you keep the packs, you observe, you stabilize the patient in ICU, and then you again tackle the abdomen. So that is called staged management of the laparotomy or damage control surgery. These are the indications for damage control surgery in general, not only for liver, but in general. So in the damage control surgery, the most important thing is the perihepatic packing. So why we are doing this damage control surgery? Because you are not able to control the bleeding into the abdomen from the liver injury. So in the initial step, you open the abdomen, you look for the bleeding point. If it is not coming under control, this very important thing is the perihepatic packing. Of course, we'll come across again the diagram. So perihepatic packing is very important step in damage control surgery. First pack chesestar. You observe pack for 20 minutes. You just meditate. After 20 minutes, you remove those packs. You can observe the point where bleeding is coming, and you tackle the bleeding. So that is the main idea. Because liver, we have seen in the other slide, 50 to 80% of the bleedings from the liver, they will regress, or they will stop spontaneously. So let us take a chance by doing the perihepatic packing and following the principles of damage control surgery. So this is another thing, management of penetrating, and this is all for penetrating trauma only. Laparotomy is warranted in every penetrating injuries of the liver. Okay. So tell me now the indications for laparotomy. Blunt injury, unstable, and all penetrating. Blunt injury, unstable patient, all penetrating, gunshot, stab, whatever it is, blast injuries, whatever it is. That is indication for laparotomy. Okay, that is, they are called penetrating or open injuries. Whereas blunt trauma, the patient is stable, conservative management, serial CT management, ICU management. And if the patient is progressing well, I already repeated, I'm repeating, the patient is progressing well, you continue the conservative management, you discharge the patient. And in the middle, if the patient become unstable, then you have to go for laparotomy. Okay. So in the setting of hepatic injuries, control of bleeding is a challenging job. So ఎప్పుడైనా కానీ liver injuries లో the stability is decided by the bleeding from the liver. Okay. So ఈ బొమ్మలో మీరు చూస్తే అర్థమైపోద్ది. For that, a systematic approach, generous exposure. ఏంటిది ఏం చెప్పండి, ఇది ఇదేం లెగమెంట్, ఇదేం లెగమెంట్, ఈ కార్నర్ లెగమెంట్ ఏమంటారు, ఈ లెగమెంట్ ఏమంటారు, షేప్ చూస్తేనే తెలుస్తుంది కదా. దిస్ ఇస్ ద coronary ligament, లెఫ్ట్ అండ్ రైట్ ట్రయాంగులర్. ఓకే, ఇది ఫాల్సిఫామ్ లెగమెంట్. ఇది ఎప్పుడు మర్చిపోతారు, ఫాల్సిఫామ్ లెగమెంట్. దిస్ ఇస్ ది anatomical left lobe, this is the anatomical right lobe. Poriad's line, Cantil's line ఎక్కడ ఉంటుంది, it will be somewhere here. అంటే ఇది ఇక్కడ ఉంటుంది కదా గాల్ బ్లాడర్, ఫ్రమ్ గాల్ బ్లాడర్ fossa to the inferior vena cava or middle hepatic vein. So this is the Cantil's line అనుకుంటే, this is all left surgical lobe and right to the Cantil's line is the right surgical lobe. ఇవన్నీ anatomy principles అన్ని బాగా తెలిసి ఉండాలి. And if there is associated chest injury also, either pericardium or to the lung and pleura or to the diaphragm, you must be ready to open the thoracotomy also. And you have to try the temporary control of bleeding. There are three basic measures for the temporary control of bleeding. One is the pressure application, that is perihepatic padding, compression, perihepatic compression. ఇందాక అనుకున్నాం కదా, perihepatic control of the bleeding, that mops will be kept over the liver and just they apply pressure, perihepatic compression. And second one is the Pringle's maneuver, and third one is the perihepatic packing. So just they pack the liver area, surround the liver area without applying the pressure, and packing and application of the pressure. And the third one is the Pringle's maneuver. So 3 P's: application of pressure, Pringle's maneuver, and packing. So these are the 3 P's for the temporary control of the bleeding. Okay, and of course special maneuvers are there, like atriocaval shunt, balloon Moore Pilcher balloon maneuver, and various clamps. So all these things are mentioned in the book. So all these things you must know. See, hepatic compression. See, so there is a tear, bleeding in this area, bleeding in this area. So you just compress the tear so that it may stop. Okay, and it requires proper skill. Yeah, madam. 5 నిమిషాలు. సో దిస్ ఈజ్ ప్రింగిల్స్ maneuver అంటే ఏంటి చెప్పండి, ఎవరో మేడం వెయిటింగ్, నాకు ఎంత టైం అయినా చాలు. అదండి, దిస్ ఈజ్ ప్రింగిల్స్ maneuver అంటే ఏంటిది, ఈ ఫోర్సెప్స్ ఎక్కడ పెట్టారు,
Porta hepatis.
పోర్టా హెపాటిస్.
Free border flexure omentum.
నో, ఇది పోర్టా హెపాటిస్ అంటే ఇది కదా, ఇక్కడ కదా పోర్టా హెపాటిస్. ఫొరామెన్ ఆఫ్ విన్స్లో కదా, మరి ఇది ఈ క్లాంప్ వెళ్తుందంటే దేర్ మస్ట్ బి స్పేస్ కదా. ఫొరామెన్ ఆఫ్ విన్స్లో ద ఫ్రీ ఎడ్జ్ ఆఫ్ ది హెపటో గ్యాస్ట్రిక్ ఆర్ హెపటోడియోడైనల్ లిగమెంట్, లెస్సర్ omentum ఉంటుంది ఇక్కడ. The free edge is called hepatoduodenal gastric ligament, and there is a opening between the lesser sac and greater sac. This is called foramen of Winslow. So, occluding the portal vein by a special clamp. So, it is known as Pringle's maneuver. Pringle's maneuver కూడా ఇది ఒక్కటే షార్ట్ నోట్స్ అడిగినటువంటి సందర్భాలనే మిమ్మల్ని అడిగితే కూడా అడగచ్చు. ఓకే, so by applying a clamp suppose there is any bleeding from the liver can be controlled because it is compressing both hepatic artery and portal vein. So this is called Pringles maneuver. The బొమ్మలు చూసి చదవడం మీకు ఈజీగా అర్థం. And this is perihepatic packing. So the liver is entering. So that is compression and pressure. This second one is Pringles maneuver. Third one is packing. So they just keep the packs and they will observe for where the bleeding is coming. Okay, and this requires special capacities and capabilities. Techniques are there, and there are the special procedures we have already seen. ABC, atriocaval shunt, and more Pilcher balloon technique. See, the balloon is passed into the liver and it will be inflated. Suppose there is any bleeding from this point, suppose there is a tear here, bleeding coming this point, ఈ ఏరియాలో ఉందనుకుంటాం. So if you inflate the balloon, it will cause pressure over that bleeding point and it will stop the bleeding. So they are all rare techniques. Just like in esophageal varices, అక్కడ వాడే బెలూన్ ఏంటి? Esophageal varices లో వాడే బెలూన్ ట్యాంప్ అనేది ఏంటది? What do you call that tube?
Black Senskin black.
Sengstaken Blackmore. Very good. అట్లానే ఇక్కడ వాడే దీని పేరు ఇది మూర్ అండ్ పిల్చర్ బెలూన్. ఇది కూడా నేను కూడా ఎప్పుడు చూడలే, మీరు ఎవరైనా చూస్తే నాకు తర్వాత చూపించండి. ఓకే, సో ఇట్లా ఉంటుందంట మూర్ అండ్ పిల్చర్ బెలూన్. సో దట్ విల్ బి పాస్డ్ ఇన్ టు ది, సో త్రూ femoral vein somehow they will enter into the portal vein and into the liver. They will inflate the balloon where there will be, it will cause pressure, temporary occlusion over the bleeding cord. Of course, multiple clamps at the porta hepatis, aorta, and suprarenal and in subhepatic vena cava. Depending on the requirement, you have to temporarily apply the clamps at different places to see from where the bleeding is coming and until you repair that bleeding point. So the definitive control of the bleeding, they are the temporary measures, pressure, packing and Pringles maneuver. These are the definitive control. So from this area bleeding is coming. So this is the cautery, electrocartery of the bleeding point. These are the permanent measures. So this is hepatorrhaphy, that is suturing of that lacerated area with the reinforcement of the momentum. And suppose there are any deep lacerations, you have to remember this name, finger fracture technique. So the liver parenchyma, suppose bleedings are coming, you are not able to cauterize it, you just apply finger fracture. So that means easily, and bleeding on touch, that friability anottu chusara. So this, by finger fracture technique, you break some of the liver tissue until you see the bleeding, and then you can control the bleeding. So that is called finger fracture technique. These are the definitive measures. Otherwise, what will happen? You don't control and you just suture. So then there will be hematoma, local necrosis, and this area may get infected during registry liver abscess, and it is more troublesome. So resection, resectional debridement. So resection, so this point, this left lobe is drastically damaged. So you can do left lobectomy. Left lobectomy ante only 2 and 3 we are removing here, 2 and 3 only. So partial left lobectomy, partial hepatectomy. Kada one name ikkada posterior ga untundi. This is the 4. This is the 4. Kada Cantill's line left lobe. This is the 4. This is 2, 3 only. So debrided parenchyma must not exceed an ఇవన్నీ కొంచెం చదువుకున్నామా, టైం అయింది నాకు. సో ఆపరేటివ్ అదర్ ఎగ్జిమ్ మెష్ ర్యాపింగ్, selective hepatic artery ligation with fibrin glue and all those things. See mesh, ఇందాక just mops తో pressure apply చేసాం, and this is the permanent procedure. See with mesh, the lacerated point is wrapped and it will be closed. So, and they will observe whether it is sufficient to maintain the control of the bleeding. Mesh wrapping. And of course, laparoscopy can be done, where all these procedures can be done with laparoscopy. and associated injuries also can be managed. And suppose mainly laparoscopy is indicated when there is injury to the diaphragm. So all these things can be tackled simultaneously. So it helps not only for diagnosis but also for as a therapeutic. And of course, it has got some disadvantages. You just go through. So advanced injuries, retrohepatic venous injuries. For example, IVC. ఎక్కడెక్కడో పెద్ద పెద్ద వెసల్స్ వెరీ ఆ వేరే ఏరియాలో ఉండే వెసల్స్ అన్ని పోయినాయి అనుకోండి. సో ఇట్ రిక్వైర్స్ వెరీ డిఫికల్ట్ ప్రొసీజర్స్. యూ జస్ట్ గో త్రూ అండ్ అల్టిమేట్లీ సమ్ పేషెంట్స్ మే రిక్వైర్ liver transplantation, where you cannot save the patient by all the above means, and the liver is not sufficient. The liver is not fit to maintain the integrity of the body to keep the patient alive. Then total hepatectomy and liver transplantation can be done in some of the patients. Okay, ఇవన్నీ చదవండి అమ్మా. మీరు చదవండి, ఇవన్నీ మీకు అర్థమవుతలే. ఓకే, మేడం వచ్చారంట. ఓకే, థ్యాంక్ యూ. ఈ సింపుల్ పాయింట్లే చూసేదాన్ని బాగా భయంకరంగా ఉంది. అండ్ యూ టేక్ కేర్ అండ్ థ్యాంక్ యూ వెరీ మచ్. పవిత్ర.